Hello everyone, welcome back to the Grand Prix Podcast. I'm Elton, and beside me today, as always, is the fast and raring to go Andy.
Hello, sweetie.
You're right.
Yeah.
I didn't know where I was going with that, but we got somewhere, so there we are.
We've gone to some dark, strange places
Already, yes, and we're not even we're just one race in already. Formula One's back.
Yay!
Oh, thank goodness.
Oh, no, man. I'm like a junkie itching for a fix, man. I was like, hey, you got any of those laps going around, mate?
Yeah, I've been itching for this. A bit hesitant about it, but also itching about it as well.
Oh, we only gripe because we love it so.
Well, yeah. It's like the other dudes who do Star Wars and Star Trek podcasts and X-Files podcasts, and sometimes they just bitch about it. But do you know why they bitch about it? Because they love it so.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not like we're those losers who go and talk about spaceships against some imaginary leaderboard or anything.
Exactly, yeah. You know, they all they do is just bitch and whine at each other.
Absolutely.
Every week.
Every week, without fail, for the last year and a bit.
Idiots.
Same.
Idiots. Utter idiots.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm
the best thing as well is none of them listen to this, so we're fine.
Oh, thank goodness for that. I don't want them losers listening to this. Anyway, I'm just going to do a a swear warning.
You can spoil as well. We are going to spoil this Grand Prix. So if you haven't watched it yet, you probably shouldn't listen.
Well said. Yes. If you haven't seen the 2017 Australian Grand Prix, then go watch it before you listen to us idiots talk about it. Crying out loud. I'm also going to do a swear warning. We are not professionals. We are just guys who like Formula One. So sometimes we have potty mouths. And that ain't going to change anytime soon. So, if you don't like swears or you have little children around, then please remove them from the room, because we don't know when we're going to swear. It might not happen, but it may happen. So, just in case...
I'm pretty fucking certain it's going to happen.
There we go. That's the reason why it's there. Tosser. Yeah. If you're offended by that sort of stuff, there's plenty of other Formula One podcasts out there that you can download and enjoy. But, this is what we do. This is our sandbox. This is how we do it. So, you have been warned. Right. The race. Or everything that around it. I
was going to say, we have an entire weekend.
Yeah.
Before we even get to it. I mean, we don't really need to do this off-season because we kind of done 2 podcasts already. So, you should go and listen to those.
Yeah.
Where we compare...
But we have to mention about a certain colour change.
We do, yes. Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to mention it?
Well, you started. You may as well carry on.
Okay, there was a certain colour change, Andy.
There was.
And it was the Force India. And there was us griping about how it just looked like the Force India and it's a little bit dull, a little bit drab, and it would look good if it had like Lumo green on the front, like the fluorescent paint.
But put it this way, no one saw this coming.
I did not see this coming, but they got a new sponsor, didn't they?
But you know what? You will see it coming now.
Yeah.
See what I did there? Yeah.
They got a new sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who it is. It's not really important. Oh, okay.
They're a water company, apparently.
Oh, okay. Right.
I've never heard of it before either.
If they could have done a transparent car, then I'm sure they would have. Or water.
Having a look on the internet, such as you do, they make pink water filters. It would seem. So there you go.
Ah, there you go. That's why the pink's there.
Makes sense because I thought it was just being sponsored or rather driven by the Pink Panther.
Right.
Which would have been awesome.
He was quite good in certain races that I remember.
Well, I just remember he had a very cool theme song.
Yeah. Sure, he was in.
We might have to play out to the Pink Panther theme song.
Might do. Probably won't, but might do. So yeah, pink. I like it. I really like it.
Oh yeah.
I think
it's great. I think it's great because it stands out on instantly you can see the Force Indias now.
Mm-hmm.
it's a new sponsor coming into Formula One, which is also great. So someone has said, we see this as a viable way for marketing, which kind of gives hope for other teams to pick something up.
Yeah.
And they're obviously paying enough to force India, which is, it's midfield, but, it's never really been like the big spenders or anything like that. They've spent enough of them to dictate the colour of the entire car, and that's going to be a pretty penny. So,
yeah.
Hey!
Yeah, which I think's really good. They haven't changed the overalls yet. All the mechanics are still in the what I presume was last year's attire.
Yeah, probably the stuff they had for testing.
Yeah. But they've got around to doing the car, and I think it looks lovely. So well done to them.
Absolutely. Well, 100%. I think that's great. Also, again, rightly or wrongly, pink being associated with girls and stuff like that, I think it kind of broadens the appeal a little bit, and hopefully encourages more people to look in and say, "Oh, that's cool." I know. I was watching the F1 show on Sky, and you had was it Patrick Head?
Yes,
I think it was Patrick Head and the ex-McLaren guy, both saying that their daughters were now like rooting for the pink cars, and I think that's a good thing. So, hey, way to Force India.
Yeah, go for it. If it encourages anyone to come along and watch this, then it can't be a bad thing at all, can it?
Not at all.
No.
That's for later, by the way.
I like it anyway. So, not impressions of the race. Should we just? Well, yeah, okay. Impressions of this weekend. How did you go into this? Expectations, and what were you expecting from pre-season testing up until this race?
To be honest, I was largely expecting more of the same. I mean, the problem with the Albert Park race is it is just not representative of the majority of the tracks. So you can go really well here, and that doesn't necessarily translate into the rest of the season. You can have a really good race here. Equally so, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a good season, So I wasn't expecting too much from this one. Mostly I was just looking forward to just seeing the cars going again, just getting a sense of how things were going, seeing the drivers back at it, which is always good. Ted up and down the pit lane in his sandals and stuff like that. So it was more just, getting the comforter back on. That's what I was looking forward to.
Yeah. And did you get up for the race?
I got up for the qualifying, and I meant to get up for the race, but one of two things happened. I either forgot to set my alarm, or I'm very adept at turning off my alarm in my sleep. So I'm lying there this morning thinking, it's nice that I'm kind of getting ready to wake up and not feeling too tired. Look at my phone, and it's just gone 8 o'clock. Bugger! So before I did anything else, I put on the TV, went to the recording of the race, and hit play, because the worst thing ever happens is if I've missed a race, you go through Facebook, someone, usually that fat Elton, has posted who's won the race, and it's like, you've ruined it for me now. So
easy, Tiger. I thought I'd got better at that, definitely in the later years as well. So
you have. I tease, but yes, it's one of those ones where someone's social media account. I mean, the news especially, they always just like blast, Lewis Hamilton or whatever's won the race. It's just like, I don't need to bother watching it now, do I? I'm still going to watch it, but still.
Well, yeah, there is a difference between spoilers of live sport and spoilers of a TV program that people can pick up at any time whatsoever, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just in my head anyway, so. Mm-hmm. And sometimes people can get far too excited about TVs and sports. It works both ways, but I feel there is a difference between live and recorded programs. So, where was I going to go with that though? I can't remember. I
think you were mocking me for not getting up.
Yeah, that's right. I got up for the race, but I didn't get up for the qualifying. I did the same as you. I got up and watched the recording of it, and I don't know. No, I did watch it. I watched it on my phone in bed. Yeah, that's how I roll. I'm sure Mick Jagger was doing exactly the same thing at exactly the same time as well. Yeah, it was good, but I did get up this morning. Unfortunately, the clocks went forward this morning as well. So
yeah,
not only were we getting up, we were getting up an extra hour earlier as well, which was poor timing as far as I'm concerned. So I'm hoping Liberty Media might sort that out at some point and try and avoid that weekend next time. Yeah, I'm just asking politely.
Yeah, it would be nice. We don't mind getting up early most of the time, but, just not this particular. That being said, though, I mean, it does kind of make sense that your sleep patterns are screwed up anyway. So if you get up really, really early, then they're all sorted for the next day. So.
Yeah, God, I'm hoping so. I'm really hoping so. Okay, right. Should we get into it then, or get into certain parts of it?
Well, shall we? Anything of note from pre-practice?
Anything of note from pre-practice? Jolyon Palmer bent his Renault.
Yes, he did. The wheels went off his wagon.
Just lost it on the last corner coming into the straight, and pretty much bent every corner on that car. I know there was a couple other little breakdowns. I think Lance Stroll had an engine or gearbox problem. I think it was. It was much ado about nothing, really. I mean,
the story largely in practice seemed to be that Ferrari's gains in testing weren't real because they seemed to be struggling just a little bit.
Yeah.
So again, all the news reports and everything were like going, oh, well, it's back to business as usual. Hamilton's mighty. Hamilton's ruling the roost, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. On some of the free practice, so there were some onboard shots of the McLaren. Now, I don't want to start bashing the McLaren straight away, but
no, that comes later.
Well, I'm just going to say now that looked like a pig to drive. It just looked. It was like driving a blancmange, or how I would think driving a blancmange would be like. It just looked sluggish and wobbly. So
yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't even think it would, qualify as a Formula 2 car.
Yeah, I think they may be edging them at some points.
Oh, actually, that's something worth mentioning because in between our last cast and this one, a couple of bits of news. The first bit of news was McLaren were apparently talking to Mercedes about potentially getting an engine, and then Honda was apparently speaking to other teams about potentially supplying them.
Really? I didn't know about the Honda supplying other teams.
Yeah. Honda said they have spoken to other teams, exploring all possibilities.
Right.
So yeah.
Any names on them teams, or just other teams?
Well, I think you could probably take it as read that it's not going to be Mercedes or Ferrari.
Yeah.
Just thinking. And also McLaren, probably not them. So one of the other teams.
Right.
I doubt sincerely Red Bull would go near them with a 20-foot barge pole.
No, that's true. It depends if they get their act together, though, doesn't it? It would be. Everyone said it would be nice to see Honda and McLaren back together. What about Honda and Williams back together? Maybe. They did some good stuff.
They did once upon a time.
Yeah. But, I don't know.
Actually, I suppose it would. No, I'll tell you what we need, because we've got Paddy Lowe back at Williams now. That was the other bit of news. Paddy Lowe's now back at Williams.
Yeah.
Paddy Lowe's back at Williams. Active suspension is coming back. Let's stick a Renault engine in there. It's 92 all over again.
Oh, yeah. Well, if they'd stuck with the active suspension, it'd be so good by now, though, wouldn't it? It really would. Every single team would have it. It'd be so cheap and so good.
It would be pretty crazy, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be so advanced by now. But them's the breaks, I suppose.
It's true.
They want to take it away. Any other catch-up news from the off-season?
Nothing immediately springs to mind. I mean, we've got lots of promises from Liberty Media and Ross Brawn about how they're going to put on a better show and stuff like that. But Adelaide apparently have said they want to host the Australian Grand Prix, and Melbourne have said over our cold dead body. So
right,
which is kind of a shame because I liked Adelaide.
Yeah,
I've actually been to, I've been to both of them, but because the Adelaide circuit is partly in a park. So obviously when it's not a race course, you can walk around it. So I've walked quite a bit of the Adelaide circuit, which is pretty cool.
Right. Okay. Yeah, the pits area, isn't that part in the park?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do like that circuit. I don't know whether it's very left, right, 90 degrees, though, isn't it? A lot of that.
Yeah, it was, yeah. But it's just, either way, it comes back to, again, these just aren't really good set indicators for the season ahead, you know? But then again, it makes it interesting, makes you want to watch the next one to see what happens.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, I don't think there's any other news that I've forgotten, so yes.
Okay.
Onward!
Should we move on to qualifying then?
Yeah, I can't think of anything else of note from practice.
No, that's right. Okay, qualifying. I think I'll start at the back of the grid and who ended up at the back of the grid. It was our good English buddy, Jolyon Palmer, in the Renault.
Oh, yes.
He's not looking good in that thing, especially when Hulkenberg is out qualifying him.
Again, you said, we're going to hold back on the bashing of Jolyon. He's had his
hard now, though.
It's not only that. I was just listening to him giving an interview. I think it might have been after his crash in practice, or maybe it was after qualifying. But he was slagging the car off something rotten.
Yeah.
And it's like, you just don't do that. You don't. When you're Fernando Alonso, two-time world champion, who is qualifying, like 12 places ahead of your teammate, then you can call your car shit.
Yeah.
When you're Jolyon Palmer, the third option for that seat this year.
I don't know, me and you were options as well before him.
Yeah, and I turned it down just because I don't have a colour. But still, when you're in that position, don't go because Renault will turn it around. They got the resources to do it. But you start talking shit. There is no shortage of other drivers, and I just remembered something else we forgot to mention because we're very naughty.
Go on,
Pascal Wehrlein.
Oh yes, well. Yeah, because that was in practice as well, wasn't it?
He took part in FP1 and FP2, and then he declared himself unfit for the race. He was declared fit by the FIA and by the team, but he felt he didn't have the fitness to compete a race distance. So they had to get Antonio Giovinazzi. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Who's the Ferrari test driver in at the last minute. I just wanted to touch on this very quickly because he had a bit of a nasty spill in the Race of Champions, didn't he?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Elton. If he was in a Mercedes, would he have sat out this race?
Oh. No, he wouldn't have.
Yeah, I feel because he's in a Sauber and he kind of knows where he's at the back, I just feel... Nothing against the bloke, and I'm sure he knows better than anyone else and does that. But I think he's really shot himself in the foot because you know what, Antonio Giovinazzi looked pretty damn handy.
He did, yeah. One of his reasons for pulling out because he said he wasn't fit to complete the race distance. It was one of Sauber's best chance, and because everyone's going into this brand new this season. It could possibly turn up some points for Sauber. So he sat out because why not make hay while the sun is shining for the team? Which I like his work ethic there. But I think he may be shooting himself in the foot, as you said. If it was Mercedes, I don't think so. I think he would have been there.
I think he'd have turned up with two plaster casts on both arms and on both legs and still trying to get in the car.
Yeah. He would have spent some time in an oxygen tank, as many footballers have done. And didn't Michael Schumacher spend some time in an oxygen tank in '99 when he broke his leg?
Never mind that. Mick Doohan on the MotoGP turned up for the last race with his leg pinned and his ankle, and he had to be lifted onto the bike and lifted off a bike.
Oh, man. That's when men were men.
Oh, yes.
It doesn't happen nowadays.
Does not.
No.
But anyway, again, we don't know the ins and outs, and hopefully Pascal will be fine for China. But like I said, I don't think that if he was in the Mercedes, he'd have sat it out.
Yeah. Well, you saying about Giovinazzi, he was 0.2 of a second off of Marcus Ericsson.
He nearly made it into Q2.
Yeah.
He made a small mistake at the end of his last flying lap and aborted. Yeah. But if he hadn't made that mistake, he would have gone into Q2 out qualifying his teammate on his debut after only one practice session, and that was it.
Yeah, that's incredible. So one to look out for, and it's a good headache for Sauber to have. Because
you say that. This is not the first time we've had this headache.
No, that's true. No, that is true. Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. In Q1, we had Jolyon Palmer, Lance Stroll in his first race for Williams, Stoffel Van Dorn in the McLaren Honda, Kevin Magnussen in the Haas, which surprised me, and Giovinazzi in the Sauber going out this time round.
Yep.
Into Q2, who dropped out then? We had
Q2. We lost from the back going forward. Marcus Ericsson.
Yeah.
Esteban Ocon, Fernando Alonso, Nico Hülkenberg, and Sergio Perez.
Yeah, Ocon was doing quite well actually. I felt.
Yeah, I mean they were doing pretty good. I mean, again, Force India's in the nice pink livery. Last year they were, I'd say, generally a shoo-in for at least one into Q3.
Yep.
This year that wasn't the case. Fernando literally wrung the neck of that bloody thing to get it up to 13th. So, again, every race Fernando does, his standing goes up with me. So, I doff my cap to him.
Yeah, he doesn't back off, does he? You'd think he might turn around and say, do you know what, I'm just going to have an easy race this weekend. But he doesn't. He gives it full on all the time. Oh,
yeah, he's giving it the full beans. I know if you stuck him in the Mercedes right now, like if he'd been in the Mercedes for the last 3 years, he'd have 3 more championships.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
definitely.
Just, yeah. So, yeah, that's that. With Lance Stroll, was there a problem with him? Why he was so far down, or was it just newbie?
Well, he did take a gearbox change.
He did, but he still qualified. I mean, his qualifying time was a 1:27.1, which was, a full second faster than Jolyon Palmer.
Didn't he lose a lot of time, though, in the practice sessions? Because of the engine? The
possibly. Gearbox. Possibly. Again, it's just, he's what, the GP3 champion?
Yeah.
Was he? It's just, there's the whole, is he a paid driver? Well, he is a paid driver, but is he only there because he's a paid driver?
I think it's too early to even judge him on that. I think we give him...
Absolutely, it's far too early. But again, just asking the question, because his compadre, Felipe Massa, are now non-retired, which was really confusing as well, because they kept saying we're now not retiring, making me think there was a problem with the car. But anyway, Felipe Massa, and again, he's an old hat. He's got many, many more years' experience, but in the same car, was 7th.
Yeah, and still turning it in.
And you look at the difference of time between Stoffel Van Dorn and Alonso. It's about a second's difference.
Yep.
Difference between Stroll and Massa, 2 and a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we should give Lance until at least a mid-season break to get his.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong. We'll rip the piss if we feel it's needed, but we're not, as we do, as is our want. But we're not making any aspersions upon his character as yet.
No.
Not
yet. Not yet. Okay. So yeah, that is 11 down to 20 already out. Q3.
Oh, yes.
There was a particular Australian which binned it.
He did bin it in a rather non-spectacular way, in a strange place as well.
Yes.
But yes, he...
third to last corner, I think it was,
Mm-hmm.
which is a very peculiar way to go.
Yeah, I think Brundle said he hadn't seen someone go off there in close to a decade. But yeah, Danny Ricciardo swapped ends and backed it into a wall.
Yep.
Hugely disappointing.
Which broke his
especially
suspension.
for me, because I'm pretty sure I had him down on our third columns.
Right.
But,
okay. Well, we'll get to them later.
We'll get to them later, but yeah. So yeah, that was a shame, and unfortunately meant he was unable to set a time. Also interrupted Max Verstappen's lap.
Yeah.
I believe, but yes. So I mean, obviously he made it into Q3, so he was going to finish 10th. Although it did give Red Bull a late night putting his car back together.
Yeah, and I think the crash damaged his gearbox.
Because the suspension and everything mounts onto the gearbox, plus the crash structure ends up getting pushed into it. So yeah, they had to change his gearbox.
Yeah, so he had a 5-place penalty for that. So well done to that. But I felt that they did a good job overnight getting that thing ready.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I thought they did really well. In the top 10 shootout, also, going in at number 9, we had Daniel Kvyat, who he looked really good, actually.
Danny Kvyat, for me, today we saw the Danny Kvyat we saw in Australia last year, and for the first 3 races last year. He's hungry again. It looks like he's managed to put 2016 behind him, which is great.
Yep.
It was pretty evenly paced with Carlos Sainz throughout, and he looked punchy, and that was good.
Yeah,
he's he has, in my opinion, put the doubts of why is he back to rest now. He's like, yeah, you know what, 2016 was 2016, moving on.
Yeah,
much like the rest of us on the planet, 2016 was just, let's just pretend that didn't happen.
It just blew chunks, didn't it? It really did. It sucked and it blew at the same time.
It did. You should do a Shonky Lab about 2016 in a couple of years.
No, that's just going to be a curse for me, crying out loud. He was only, 3 or 4 100ths of a second off of Carlos Sainz. So
yeah,
pretty even Stevens there, which is good to see. Good inter-team battling. I think, as we said in our pre-season show, they are going to be battling all the way through the season, and
absolutely, yeah.
For a drive.
They're both fighting for a drive, because honestly, I don't see how we can keep both of them into a roster next year if they want to use that team to bring in new talent.
Yeah.
So
7th was Felipe Massa, as you've already said. Roman Grosjean.
They're not retiring Felipe Massa. Yeah.
Yeah, the retired and then not retiring, even though he didn't miss a single race.
Yeah.
So confusing. Roman Grosjean was 6th.
Did he have to give his car back, by the way?
Yes, he did, yeah.
Oh, man.
They said he did. You can just imagine him holding on to the rear wing and digging his heels in.
It's mine.
Like a cartoon character just being dragged along. Claire Williams on one end and Felipe Massa on the other end.
Yeah.
I don't see why.
Rob Schmedley in the middle, not knowing what to do.
Yeah, I don't see why he has to give it back. Why?
I don't think. I heard the same thing someone say. I don't think he had to. I think was allowed to keep it.
Right.
But anyway, Grosjean and the Haas. Well done again. Kind of reminiscent of what we saw last year with Haas punching well above their weight. Bearing in mind that his teammate Kevin Magnussen was all the way down in 17th.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, in terms of, again, 2 and a bit seconds difference. So.
And Magnussen was saying that Haas is very easy to work there, because of the structure that they have throughout the company. There's just one head honcho to work from, which he sounds more comfortable there. So
if he keeps putting in 17s when his teammates qualifying 6th, he won't be comfortable for long.
No, that's right. Yeah, so he needs to step up his game. But I think new guy in a new team, give him a couple of races to settle in, and then they should be going. So
You say that he's a new guy again. No, he's been in Formula One now this is his third season, fourth season. Yeah,
They don't give you much of a window to get used to a team, do they?
it does not. No,
No. Okay, who came above Roman Grosjean? It was
it's Max Verstappen.
Max Verstappen.
Yes.
Oh, he's a keeper.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Yeah, he didn't look as fast as what we thought he would be, but he was still there. But he was over half a second slower than the pole position time.
Yeah, I just don't think the Red Bulls were really with it, for whatever reason.
And it wasn't a case of sandbagging either.
No, what's the point in sandbagging? It's points on offer now.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't know if it's maybe the engine they're not too comfortable with, or the aero, or what. But because I find it hard to believe it's the aero.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's bloody Adrian Newey, but still, not quite where it wants to be.
Yeah. And then we move into our top four. The oldest man on the grid at the moment, Kimi Räikkönen, hits in fourth, who I thought was doing quite well. Then his rival and battling for corner partner, Valtteri Bottas, who's now moved from Williams to Mercedes, looking quite tasty in the Mercedes. Then we had Sebastian Vettel nipping it onto the front row of the grid by...
It was nip and tuck, wasn't it?
Yeah, last lap.
Yeah, it was his last lap. It was nip and tuck. But yeah, because again, after the red flag, they knew they had one run left, so they had like 3 minutes, so that's enough time to do an out lap, do a flyer, and he just missed out on the front row.
Bottas, I feel, was closer than what I thought he would be, which I'm glad about.
Mm-hmm. It's true, but I mean, to be perfectly honest, he was always going to be in the top four.
He was always going to be in the top four, but he surprised me on how close he was to Lewis Hamilton. I was maybe expecting him to be the fourth out the top four.
Yeah,
that we have, but no, he was solid. He was bloody good.
Yes.
And taking pole position is that bloody Brit, Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, yes. Lewis's pole again.
Yes.
And there was much rejoicing.
Second pole position of his career.
Yeah, is now he tied with Senna?
No, he's overtaken Senna now.
Okay.
Yeah, he's overtaken Senna, but it tied with Senna for 6 Australian pole positions.
Ah, that was it.
That's where he tied the record for him anyway. So there we have our grid. I'm guessing we should move on to the race.
So late breaking news just coming in. Senna had 65 career poles. Lewis is 62, so he's still got a few to go.
Oh, I thought he had 61.
No, 65 for Senna. The highest is Schumacher with 68. But we should point out that back in Senna's day, you had like 12 races a season, so
yeah,
that's even more impressive.
Didn't have that many races, did they? And what did he started in 95? Sorry, he started in 85?
84.
84. Died in 94. He did it in the decade. And Lewis has just broken his decade.
Yes.
No, it is this decade this year, isn't it?
Yeah, his first race was the 2007 Canadian Grand Prix.
That was his first win, yeah.
Oh, sorry, his first pole, yeah, but 2007 was his first.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, that was our quali. Couple of penalties ended up getting issued out. Stroll had a gearbox change, so he got shunted down to 20th.
Yep.
And Ricciardo, as we've already mentioned, had to have a gearbox change, so he was due to start 15th, but he broke down on his sighting lap, was it? On the way to the pit lane?
Yeah.
So he had to be rushed back in and ended up starting from the pit lane.
Did you hear what happened to his car?
I did not.
Okay, I think there was a sensor problem which stuck the car in 6th gear. He couldn't shift it out of 6th gear, so they put it on a wagon, brought it all the way back, and he started from the pit lane. But they did manage to repair it, but he was 3 laps down by the time he ended up going out. So it was just another test session for him. He was hoping for safety cars to come out.
Yeah, because again, they take great pains at pointing out every 30 seconds that every bloody Formula One race in Melbourne has a safety car.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just hard luck on him. A couple of years ago, he had the 3rd place taken off for a fuel flow balls up, I suppose you could call it.
Oh yeah,
he was in 3rd place. He went onto the podium, and then it was stripped off of him. But he doesn't have much luck around here. But I don't know. I'm still hoping that they can get it together and he can really push for that championship. But races like today and future races as well, the way that the Red Bull is going at the moment, I don't know. I can't see it happening at the moment. So
nah, not just now.
Anyway, okay, let's get into the race.
Yes.
How do we do the race? Because we don't want to do lap by lap because that is quite dull. But significant things that happened during the race. Should we go for?
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, let's just kind of freestyle it. Maybe we kind of important things we want to talk about, and then we could just go through the teams and just like start at the back and work our way forward and say, so this happened. Obviously, starting with our false start.
Yeah. Okay, go on. What happened there? Because there was some talk about Hulkenberg being in the wrong place, but I don't think he was.
No. So basically, because Ricciardo didn't make the grid, they obviously left his spot clear. They did the first sighting lap, pulled in, and then Charlie sent them around again. Mm-hmm. And everyone, they're going, what's happened? Is Hulkenberg in the wrong spot or something like this? But it turns out there was one of the marshals hit a warning light, but no one could ascertain why they'd pushed a warning light. So they did another sighting lap, and it turned out he just pressed it by mistake. So
right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
slightly embarrassing.
Well, that is a slow lap for Daniel Ricciardo. I suppose it probably saved him a lap as well, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. Although they do take a lap off of a final race distance, but still, gives them a bit more time to get together.
Yeah, it gave him maybe a lap or 2 extra, I feel. If they'd just gone off the lights then maybe they could have got another lap in, or maybe 2 laps in, and then he might have even not turned a wheel.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there we go.
Small mercies.
Okay. So the start then. Were you impressed with the start? It seemed very sluggish from everyone.
If anything, I was a little disappointed because I was expecting more drama. Because everyone would be making a big deal about how drivers' aids are going. And, last year Mercedes were having real problems with their starts. And, we could have a lot of stuff happening.
Ferrari were good on their starts last year as well.
They were. Williams were always very good as well, getting away. But yeah, it just kind of went off with no real drama, really. It was just like, and they're off, and okay.
Yeah. They were very sensible through the first corner, weren't they?
There was a little bit of contact, wasn't there? Who was it? It was Magnussen and Ericsson.
Yeah, that was a couple of corners down, wasn't it? That was
it was
the third corner.
Yeah. Also, we got a report from Stoffel Van Droen that his downshift wasn't working. Mm-hmm. And that just kind of became a running thing throughout the race, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's just a nice excuse. I know he was probably having a terrible time with it, but it also helps as well.
Didn't later on his dashboard fail as well, and he couldn't get any on-screen information?
Yeah, I think that came back to life at some point. I think it did, yeah. But yeah, the Ericsson and who was it again? Magnussen. Okay. Who would you put blame to on this one? Because I'm going with Magnussen, just trying to dart down and just out of control.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was Ericsson, was kind of first into the corner, had his nose ahead. Magnussen kind of just straightened up his car at the apex and just went straight into the side of him.
Yeah.
I mean, just by definition, Magnussen's at fault because Ericsson was ahead.
Yeah.
He didn't close the door or anything. He left the space.
Yeah, I think Ericsson did give him a lot of room, didn't he?
Yeah.
I know Martin Brundle was saying that he possibly got on the curb, which spat him off, which I can see, but I don't think they're very high curbs there anyway. So I suppose there is a little bit of that, but yeah, I don't know. I think
in any event, they both managed to restart or at least keep going. So
yeah, but no penalties for it at all.
That was nice. Yeah, they said they were investigating Magnussen.
Yep.
Again, it's no longer both drivers get investigated. It's only the driver deemed to have caused something. And like if there's clear, someone was deliberately in the wrong. And they decided no further action, which I was actually very happy with the lack of steward messages and stuff this time out. So yeah.
It was quite quiet from that perspective, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
Which was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice not to have the TV judging people and then willy-nilly just giving out random things that don't really work. Just doesn't.
I've got no problems with it as long as it's consistent. The problem is it's never consistent. So.
No, that's right. Yeah, that's the downside of it.
Yeah.
But then for the next, I suppose, 20 odd laps, it was Vettel just chasing down Hamilton, wasn't it?
I wouldn't say chasing down. They just, again, we were used to last year and, in previous years, the Mercedes would get out in front and then just disappear off into the distance. But couldn't seem to do that this year. Well, at least this race. The Mercedes pretty much held, the Ferrari held the Mercedes honest. Was it just outside of DRS range, about 1.3 seconds, I think, for most of it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Just outside of it. And, again, it didn't take too long before we started hearing radio messages coming from Mr. H. Hamilton. Don't like the tyres, can't push any harder, blah, 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 blah.
Sun's
blah,
in my
blah,
eyes.
Yeah.
There's leaves on the track.
I'm cranky, I want to nap.
Yeah, I thought I saw a kangaroo.
Yeah.
I swear I saw a kangaroo. Yeah. I think we're used to him.
I actually have a theory about why Ferrari won, but I'll explain it later.
Right, okay. Yeah. Save it for the conclusion, I suppose.
Yes, I'll save it. It's sure to remind me, though, because you'll like it.
Okay. But I quite liked the way that Ferrari were keeping Mercedes honest. I've said this before with you. I like the cat and mouse stuff where you have a car either just outside DRS or just chasing it and just giving them enough. I felt that Ferrari had a little bit extra and could have gone a bit more. But I don't know.
I don't know if they had a bit extra, but it certainly seemed like it was happier following the Mercedes than anything else.
Yeah.
And it was just nice that the Mercedes couldn't gap the Ferrari. So, that was good. And again, a couple of laps later, we hear that Daniel Ricciardo's made it out of the pits. Yay!
Yay! And the Australian crowd went bananas for him.
Absolutely.
But was there any other action after that? I suppose it was down to pit stops at that point as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, when did we first start getting pit stops? Can't remember. Most of them went for one stops, didn't they?
Yeah. I think everyone went for one stop, didn't they?
I think they did, yeah, because at one point they were talking about Plan B. Mm-hmm. But that didn't really translate. But yeah, it was about laps 20, 26, around then they started pitting.
Yeah.
Again, in the lead up, we had a lot of Hamilton on the radio complaining about his tyres. Not complaining, but they're going, just like he can't push them any harder, or he didn't sound happy in the car, did he? He sounded like there's a lot of stuff bothering him.
Do you know what he sounded like?
What?
Nervous.
Yeah, he sounded nervous. He almost sounded like he's working in the call center. And Debbie sat over there. She's talking really loudly. She's eating really stinky food, and she's just irritating me. Why are you doing this, Debbie?
She was eating egg sandwiches, the bitch.
Egg sandwiches in the office. Debbie, look, I'm trying to work here, and look, this isn't working for me. You need to stop.
And then do you know what she eats after the egg sandwiches? Salt and vinegar crisps.
Corn cocktail.
No. Salt and vinegar. They're nice when you're eating them. When you smell other people's salt and vinegar crisps, get out. Doesn't wash with me.
See, this is the quality you get with us and not with other podcasts. No one else is comparing it to egg sandwiches and salt and vinegar crisps.
Oh dear, Debbie in the call center.
Yeah, but anyway, Debbie was blinked first and ended up in the pits.
Yep.
Because again, we often hear about the undercut. There was speculation that the overcut might have been better, which I think is nonsense. It's not an overcut; it's just staying out longer.
Well, yeah,
you can't overcut. You can undercut, or you can stay out. There's no such thing as an overcut.
Yeah,
makes no sense. But anyway, basically Hamilton and Mercedes blinked first, and they pitted. Ended up coming out behind. It was Verstappen, but who else was it behind?
There was a back marker, wasn't there?
There was. I don't know if it was a back marker or just another car, but basically he came out into a bit of traffic. Ended up getting held up by Verstappen.
He was again locked behind him, wasn't he?
Well, bearing in mind they've removed the quote Verstappen rule this year.
Yep.
The one about not moving under braking going into a corner, which was a stupid rule in the first place. But that's gone now. So, yeah, if you want to get past someone, you've got to fight past them. And, the Mercedes didn't seem as happy following as the Ferrari did.
No, it was... the Ferrari was a lot slipperier than the Mercedes in the dirty air, shall we say.
I mean, I don't know if it was the car or if it was just, again, Lewis was being fussy. But because the thing is, we can't really compare because I don't think we heard a single word from Bottas except his slowdown lap.
We didn't hear much from Vettel either. Sometimes you get the bitching, whinging and whining from him as well.
Oh, okay, I'm going to have to tell you now. I'm going to have to tell you my theory now. I know why Ferrari won.
Right, go on.
Well, they wouldn't let him bring War and Peace into the cockpit for him to recite. So think of all the weight they saved.
He's got a ghostwriter now.
Well, and again, he's got to concentrate on driving and not composing his memoirs.
Didn't hear from him though, did we?
No, he did not. It's almost like he shut up and drove.
Well, I felt that he was very comfortable where he was. Now, I think the plan was going to be Mercedes blink first. We just stay out and try and put as much time on them tyres as we can and try and pull away and hope that the Mercedes gets into traffic. I think if the Mercedes didn't get into traffic, the Ferrari didn't have the pace to... I hate that overcut as well. Same as you. I don't think Ferrari would have had the pace to stay out in front because there was... I think Verstappen played into Ferrari's hands.
Oh, yeah, I do. But I think McLaren got nervous. I mean, they even admit this afterwards. They misjudged the tyre wear. They thought the tyres were going away, but they weren't.
Okay, did they misjudge it, or was it getting into Hamilton's head because he couldn't pull away from the Ferrari and so getting nervous?
I didn't want to name Debbie, and pick names, but yeah, basically, someone made the call. Now, whether it was Hamilton making the call because he felt he didn't have it, or the team listening to what he was telling them and then deciding to do it, but whatever way, because again, these are not only new tyres, but these are new dimensions of tyres. It's not like it's a different compounds and everything. It's just like they're not quite used to how these tyres behave.
No.
So they don't know where your gradients are. They don't know, is it a situation where they go away and then come back to you? They're still learning with these tyres. So you kind of have to take what your driver says on face value.
Yeah. Especially in the first race as well.
Absolutely.
And they will learn from that as well. So maybe next time round they'll just say, shut up, Lewis, get on with it. You're right.
Maybe they will. there was quite a bit of that going on the grid today. We heard, I think, Van Droon at one point complaining, and they just said, yeah, we'll just get on with it, which was funny. I think Jolyon Palmer as well was complaining at one point, and they just said, well, do what you can.
Yeah. Well, he had a couple of spins as well, didn't he? Brakes. He had problems with brakes.
Yeah.
And ended up spinning, and they were just, no, just carry on. Just do what you can with it. And I think he did try his best with it, but ultimately it got the better of him, and he ended up retiring.
Yes. Just trying to find out what lap it was. Lap 15. Yeah. Incidentally, Roman Grosjean also retired on lap 13 with a water leak.
Yep.
Because we all thought his engine had caught fire, but they quite adamant it was a water leak, and that was steam and not smoke.
Right. Okay. I thought it was
because that's this year's Ferrari. So if it was an engine going pop, that would have been clenched buttholes over in the Ferrari team. I would have thought.
Definitely, most definitely, yeah. So we got Vettel ahead of Hamilton and Verstappen, and that's where it stayed, really, wasn't it?
That was pretty much it, yeah. We had a couple of instances. Again, Mercedes tried to G Hamilton up, saying, get past Verstappen, and he's like, can't do it.
He was talking about his floor as well.
He kept saying, is there any damage on the floor? But no one saw him going off anywhere or anything. I didn't catch the post-race interviews to know if there was some incident, but maybe he just felt the aero wasn't quite right.
Maybe he
I don't know.
Banged a curb at some point.
Mm-hmm. Possibly. But anyway, he, again, they were going to go to plan B, but then they realized the tyres weren't degrading how they thought they were going to degrade. So it was like, well, no, we're not going to make up the time of a pit stop. So just have to suck it and see.
Yep.
Bottas, pretty anonymous race, but, he brought it home third. So,
I thought he did a solid race.
Solid race for his first time in the team, yeah. What can you really do if the team leader is finishing second? If that's what the car can do, and you're third, then there's no shame in that.
No, that's right. I feel Kimi had quite a quiet race as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he didn't quite have the pace of Vettel, but I think we saw
that was all
last
weekend,
year,
really, wasn't it?
Yeah, we saw last year when Vettel drops the ball, then Kimi steps up. And it was a case of, okay, Vettel's got this. Just let him do it, and I'll just go along, collect the points.
Yeah. There's your top four, basically. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that really jumped out at me. Alonso was running in the points for most of this race.
Yeah, most of it as well, yeah.
Yeah. It was literally the last... I know they ended up retiring him, but... literally up until, I think, lap 49, he was running 10th in that dog of a car.
Yeah.
Again, that is why you put Fernando Alonso in your car. That's why you want him in your team.
Because he can pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Never mind a rabbit out of a fucking hat, mate. He's wearing short sleeves and he just made a rabbit appear out of thin air.
Yeah. But he had a little battle with Hülkenberg and Ocon, which was... I thought that was quite good, actually. 3 abreast down the main straight, going into the first corner.
That was really cool. And again, just bearing in mind how down on power the McLaren is, he kept him behind a lot longer than he had any right to.
Mm. But he did get tagged by Ocon.
Yeah.
Ever so slightly. They said that...
Slightly.
He retired with a broken floor. Mm-hmm. He was on the phone after he got tapped and after he got taken and dropped down to 12th about the car pulling right or pulling to the left.
Yeah.
And they've put it down as a broken floor. But he did get tagged at some point, and you saw bits flying off from the winglets of Ocon's Force India.
Yeah.
So maybe it was a cut tyre, But then again, you'd think that would go down and telemetry would show that straight away. But maybe a sideways impact on the suspension as well. I don't know. But it's... I suppose once they're out the points, that's it. Okay, retire it.
Well, put it this way: they got more information on this race than they had the entirety of testing. So
yeah, and they were hard battle laps as well. I thought
absolutely,
you can't ask much more from him. You really can't ask much more from him.
Fernando Alonso said post race he thought this was his best race ever.
Really?
Just like from his personal, how he felt he did.
Right. How much he squeezed out of that car.
Oh, God, yeah. And again, some perspective. The sister McLaren literally finished last.
Yes.
And I grant you, there was a fairly high attrition rate, but literally finished last.
It was the last runner, wasn't it?
Yes. 2 laps down.
Any other talking points during the race? Oh, Ricardo.
Ricardo broke down, fuel cell issue. They tried to restart it, but he just wasn't able to do so, which gutting for both him and for the Australian fans and for myself, because I'm pretty sure he's on my list, but we'll come to that in a bit.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, again, it's a we keep coming back to this. It's a strange race. Is Australia? It doesn't really give any indications about how anything's going to be.
No,
it's just if you think of it, this is effectively just a dry run for the season. Make sure cars work. Make sure the infrastructure works. Let the TV companies test it. This is really kind of like a dress rehearsal.
This is your first day back at school where you get to know where your lessons are.
Yes, exactly that.
You get given your diary and you get told where your lessons are. You go and meet your teachers, and then the next
you've got to make sure your books are covered by the next race.
Oh, I flipping hated that. Cover your book. God damn it. Why do I have to cover it? It's my book. I don't want to cover it. Oh,
you get detention, man.
Yeah, I got plenty of them for not covering books. I hated that. Oh, with a passion. Anyway, should we run down the top 10 and then talk about something else, I suppose?
We may as well do all of the runners because there was only 12 of them.
Okay. Right, well...
13 of them. So.
Our winner, which surprised me and pleased me at the same time, we had Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari winning the race.
We did. Incidentally, actually, no, I'll tell you my little factoid at the end. But yes, Vettel won. Well done to Ferrari. Doff our caps to them.
Yeah.
Although I'll tell you this, I'll say this. You'd think, I think it was Arriva Bene, might crack a fucking smile at this point.
But the job's not complete yet. The job at Ferrari is never complete.
The job at Ferrari is never complete, and I'll grant you that. But one thing which kind of annoyed me a little bit is the attitude of Arriva Bene and some of the team. Jock Clear's great, Vettel and all that. They're all kind of like, yes, we've won. This is great work. This is a reflection of our hard work. We've done everything like this. Some of the team were like going, of course we won. We're meant to win. This is, why are you surprised? And it's like, no, sir. You have to understand just what an achievement this is.
Yeah.
But there was a certain air of arrogance that might not yet be earned.
I don't know. I think... No, I get it. I get why they're like that. Because, like I said, the job at Ferrari is never complete. And...
No.
Even if they win the next 4 races, I still feel it'll be there's plenty more races after this one, and then next year there'll be more races after that as well. It's just I get it. I get why they're like that, and I kind of like it. I don't know why, but maybe I'm just a sucker. I'm just a sucker for them red cars.
I love the cars. It's great. Happy Vettel won. I'm happy we didn't have to hear him reciting War and Peace. and all that sort of stuff. It's just, I mean, just crack a goddamn smile, people. Be happy.
Yeah, well, they had a barren year last year as well, didn't they? So they
all the more reason to be like going, yeah.
yeah, I suppose. Lewis Hamilton was second, nearly 10 seconds behind Vettel as well.
Yeah, but I think as we've seen in the past with him, once he realises he's not going to win, and once he realises the guy behind him's not going to give him any trouble, he's just like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, just bring it home.
Yeah. Again, new cars, new engines, you don't want to stress them too much. They've got to get these engines. They've got 4 engines for the season now, so that's a big ask.
Yeah, you wait until the end of the season. I reckon there's going to be at least 6 or 7 for some of these. At least 6 or 7.
At least. I won't be surprised if there's... How many races this season?
20, I think it is.
I won't be surprised if there's 20 for McLaren.
Oh, dear. No, stop the McLaren bashing, crying out loud. Let's stop that. Anyway, Bottas was third, completing the podium.
Yes.
Solid drive. I thought he did really well. Kimi Räikkönen in fourth. Quite an empty race from him. Didn't really hear much from him.
Pretty anonymous. Yeah.
Max Verstappen did the best he could with what he was given. They're not as
30
fast.
seconds down. Yeah.
They're not as fast as what we thought they would be as well. That car needs to be more powerful. That Renault needs a few more horses thrown in there, I feel. But
it would certainly help.
Yeah. Felipe Massa coming in 6th. The retired, non-retired man.
If he keeps performances like that, I don't think he'll be retiring at the end of this season either.
I think that guy's got a future.
He'll go far, he will.
Yeah. Sergio Perez brought the Force India in 7th. Then we have the 2 Toro Rossos of Carlos Sainz and Daniel Kvyat in 8th and 9th. And Esteban Ocon in the Force India, bringing it home in 10th.
Excellent. 3
people outside the points. We have Nico Hülkenberg in the Renault, in his first race for Renault. Antonio Giovinazzi, thank you, in the Sauber. And Stoffel van Dorn in the McLaren Honda, classified as the slowest car ever.
So let's get this straight here. The Sauber, the team that was on the verge of bankruptcy, with last year's Ferrari engine.
Yes.
With a driver who completed 1 practice session prior to the race. Finished ahead of the McLaren.
Yes. Which is, I think, where the steering wheel problems help them out a little bit.
Okay.
It just softens the blow that they are utter guff. They're just...
I was just stating facts. I wasn't making any judgments. I was just getting the facts clear in my head. But
yeah,
I have to wonder if on a beach in Tahiti, a certain British racing driver might be lying back, enjoying his mojito.
Do you know what? I don't even reckon he watched it.
I don't think he did.
Why would he want to do that? It's like going to school for years and years, and then when you leave school, suddenly deciding to watch Grange Hill. No, it doesn't happen. Doesn't wash. So, no, I reckon he looked on his phone and went, "Oh, okay, fine, good. Glad Mercedes didn't win," and that was it. Didn't even look for where McLaren were.
I don't think he even cared about Mercedes winning or not.
Yeah. Now that we got to the end of the race, we know who's won. Can I just get your thoughts on how the racing was in our first run out of these new regulations and how the cars look and how they run closer together? What was your first race impressions of the actual racing itself? Well, again,
I know I'm labouring this point, but we have to remember this isn't representative. But just based solely on what we saw here, I like the look of the cars. They look good on the track, nice, low and wide, nice and mean. I didn't find the billboards too obnoxious either, to be honest, which is good. I still don't like them. Still want to get a shot of them, but, that was good. I liked the hands-off approach the stewards took. I thought that was very refreshing.
Yep.
Still not a fan of blue flags, both in concept and execution.
Yep.
Would like to see them gone. Sick of hearing drivers whine over the radio.
Yeah, I don't think that's going away anytime soon. I reckon you get rid of the billboards before the whining goes.
I think they should have one-way radio.
What, from pits to car? And
Yeah.
that's it?
That's it. All the car can do is press to confirm.
Okay. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
Just a button on there which you could confirm you've received the message. Just because I'm tired of hearing them bitch. I am. The only ones which are fun are Kimi Räikkönen and Fernando Alonso, because they don't give a fuck.
No, that's true. That's
If
right.
they're bitching on the radio, it's funny.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Leave me alone. Okay. Yeah, my first impressions of it are, it's not the big step that I was expecting, or it was drilled into me as it's going to be a massive step. The aero and the cars are going to be so much faster than what they were last year. I think they're 3 seconds a lap faster at most. We were promised about 4 or 5. That might come in time. That might be mid-season, maybe towards the end of the season. We might see 5 seconds, which I'm looking forward to. I was expecting it out the gate. Bigger tyres, surface area, bigger floor, just more grip, but more downforce as well. It just didn't impress me as much as what I thought it would.
I often find this, though. I often find when we come back to the Formula One season in Australia, I'm often left disappointed by the race. Just because it's never as exciting as you want it to be.
Yeah.
It's always just a little bit flat. You know, it's like the build-up's there. It's the first race of the season, you know, itching to get back into it. But it just doesn't deliver the amazing sort of racing that we really want.
Yeah.
So
I thought the cars looked cool, though. They look cooler than last year, definitely.
Definitely think their cars look a whole lot better. I forgot to tell you my factoid as well.
Go on, then.
It is the first time since the 2014 Australian Grand Prix that a non-Ferrari has led the championship. Non-Mercedes has led the championship.
Right, okay.
Ever since the beginning of 2014, Mercedes has always led the Constructors' Championship.
The turbo era, yeah.
Yep.
Right, okay. Well, that bodes well. I also heard the last 19 of the last 26 years, the first person to win a race has gone on to win the championship, and that bugs me. I don't like that sort of stat.
Oh, that's a bit like saying, the last, of the last 9 races, safety cars turned out in Melbourne 6, including the last 3. Well, it didn't turn out this year, so next year stats are going to change, aren't they?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
You're always the first one to do something until you're not. So
yes. Yeah. I'm just going to run through the standings at the moment. After one race, in the drivers' stand-in at the moment, we have Sebastian Vettel on 25 points. He's leading it. Lewis Hamilton second with 18 points. Valtteri Bottas with 15 points in third. Kimi Räikkönen in fourth with 12 points. And Max Verstappen in fifth with 10 points. In the constructors, we have Ferrari on top, as you said, with 37 points. Mercedes in second place with 33 points. Red Bull Racing in third with 10 points. Williams in fourth with 8 points. And Force India in fifth with 7 points.
Whee.
So there we go.
Absolutely. The impressive thing there as well is all of Williams' points come just from Massa.
Yeah, that's right. But I'm looking forward to the up and coming races at the moment.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go through our predictions, and then we're going to predict for the next race in China.
Okay, sir.
Okay, you predicted Kimi on pole position.
Yeah.
Dearie me. I predicted Bottas on pole position. I got closer. I was closer to the pin than you. In the race, you predicted Bottas to win. Bottas.
Yeah. I know.
Bottas. I predicted Vettel.
Jammy bastard.
How'd you like them apples?
You pulled a Ferrari on me there, haven't you?
Yeah. Wow.
The first time since we've done this, you've been ahead on the predictions as well.
Yeah, I think we should keep a tally now.
Oh, yeah, we're doing it now. You're winning. Okay.
Yeah. Once again, my sandpit. In the third column, we wanted to know how many laps Fernando Alonso would do. Now, you predicted he would not start.
I predicted he would break down on the parade lap.
Yep. And if you were going for Daniel Ricciardo, you would have got that. That would have worked.
Yeah. No, because he still started. I mean, okay, he kind of broke down, but he still managed to go.
But I would have given it to you because I'm that kind of guy.
Yeah.
I'm that kind of guy. Anyway, yeah, you said did not start, 0 out of 58 laps, and I went for 12 laps out of the 58, and he completed, hang on, let me have a look at it. He completed 50 of the 58.
50 laps.
So,
in my defence, no one could have predicted they'd have done more than that before this race. So,
no, it's true.
Also, and I'll point out in the last 2 races, he has effectively been unable to continue on to the next race after the Australian Grand Prix. So.
Yeah, there was that possibility, but
yeah,
I'm sure he will be there anyway. So there we go. Predictions for next race.
Yes, China next time out.
Yeah.
Would you like me to give you the stats from last year?
Yes,
so
please.
You know where you... So on pole position last year was Nico Rosberg. Fastest lap was Nico Hulkenberg. And the podium. Do you want to see if you can guess the podium from last year?
It was Nico Rosberg.
Yes.
Where were we? China.
China.
God, I'm stumped.
It was Rosberg from Vettel from Danny Kvyat.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Because Daniel, the 2 Ferraris touched each other, didn't they?
Well, and he blamed Kvyat, didn't he? This was when Vettel started his recitation.
Yeah.
Of One Piece. So yeah.
Okay. So who are you gonna go for pole position for the next race out?
Next race out, pole position. I'm gonna go with Lewis.
Okay. Who will I go for? Because I don't want to go for Lewis. I am going to go for Bottas. There we go. What about the race win?
Okay, who's going to go for the win? It's very easy to say Vettel because he was second last time.
Right.
But I don't think. Again, I just don't think this is going to be representative of the season. Unfortunately, at least not yet. I think Ferrari will be there, but I don't think we're going to be there just yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to put Lewis down. I don't want him to, but I think he will.
So you're going for Hamilton.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, who do I want? Oh, not who do I want. Who do I reckon? I reckon that we're due for a shake-up. We're due for an odd winner.
What, you mean like Vettel?
No, well, do you remember every now and again you'd get Benetton winning? They'd win.
Back in the 94, 95?
No, in the early 90s. Nelson Piquet winning Canada. And it was like their only winner that season in 91, I think it was. They would just throw in every now and again. I reckon there's a... Oh, man. I want to go for someone crazy to win it.
Do you want me to give you some more stats for China?
Yeah, go on, Em. Go on.
Okay. The most wins in the Chinese, 4 wins, is Lewis Hamilton. Second most, with 2 apiece, is Fernando Alonso and Nico Rosberg. You'd be a brave man to say Fernando Alonso is going to win at China.
I reckon Nico Rosberg's got more chance than Alonso.
As far as constructor wins, Ferrari and Mercedes have both won 4 apiece. McLaren have won 3. Just to give you the last. I mean, the race has been going on since 2004. So last year was Rosberg, then it was Hamilton and Hamilton. Alonso in 2013, Rosberg in 2012. Hamilton in 2011, Button in 2010,
Right.
Vettel in 2009.
I've made up my mind.
Who are you going with?
Verstappen.
Verstappen, eh?
Yep, I'm going for Verstappen. I reckon there's something about it. I can feel it in my water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Third column. What do you want to do for that?
Ooh, third column. I picked last time. You can pick this time.
Okay. Third column. 10th place. Who do you reckon is going to hit 10th place?
You know what? Just because I'm feeling mischievous, I'm going to go with an Alonso.
You're going Alonso. Okay.
Yeah.
I am going to go for Magnussen. Yeah. Right, that is written down in pencil, so that cannot be deleted ever.
No.
There we go. So you are predicting pole position Hamilton, race Hamilton, and 10th position Alonso. I'm going with Bottas, Verstappen, and Magnussen. So there we go.
Okay. There you go. Locked in.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Right. I think we dragged it out long enough. We got a little competition going on at the moment.
Yay!
The phone lines are now closed. You may enter, but you may still be charged. We have a selection of people in a hat. I don't know if you can hear that. I've got my my British American racing. Oh, it's a Honda hat with Jacques Villeneuve's helmet on there.
Is it going to work for the duration of this segment?
It might break down halfway through, but
okay.
we never know. Anyway, I've put all the names that have put 5-star reviews in iTunes for us. So thank you to everyone who's gone in for that. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull out a name. I'm going to shuffle them around, pull out a name, and then send the DVD, the review of the 2016 DVD, off to the person who I pull out. Now, all you got to do is get in contact with us. How are we going to do that, though? Crying out loud, I've just got to trust people.
Well, you can either get them to do it on the Facebook group, or they can tweet us.
Yep.
Or they can send you an email.
Yes.
So there are many ways you can do this.
Yes. Yeah, in a couple of ways. I'd rather prove that you are the person that is the person I'm going to be pulling out, because some of these names are very, very peculiar, shall we say.
Again, like I said, if they do it on Facebook, they should probably marry up.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So, Facebook group, you can get in contact with us there. We've got a Twitter, which is at Grand Prix Pod. You can get in touch with us there. And you can also drop us an email at RogueTwoMedia.com as well. So we will get in contact with you and you get in contact with us, and then we'll send the DVD out. Anyway, I've postponed it too long. The winner is this person. Right. I'm opening it up. It's very exciting.
And the Oscar goes to...
I know. Oh.
Moonlight!
Right. This is the longest name that we have. It's a US review. And the name... the name is JFH. I can't pronounce this because you cannot pronounce this. But it's JFHIKDRJNYKHJMCDUP. Now, if you are that person that left a review...
We're going to call him Bob for short.
Yeah. If you are the person that left that review, please get in contact with us. Hence, 100 emails coming through now. Just,
Also, can you tell us what the name means?
Yeah, it's peculiar. What I'll do after the show, I'll send you a link onto who this was, or not who I think it was, but I'll show you that coming up. I knew it'd be that name. Crying out loud, just causing us problems. So I need to send you a DVD. Region 1 is United States as well, isn't it?
It is.
So I've got to get Region 1 DVD sent out to you. You are the lucky winner. Congratulations.
Hold on.
Thank you to everyone who's helped us out, and it has helped us. So if you still feel like giving us 5-star reviews and pumping up a mysterious ladder that doesn't really exist, then please pop along to iTunes or your podcatcher that you use and put in a little nice review for us, and we should work our way up into the vision of other people there. So I think that's it. Is there anything you'd like to plug before we get out of here and then look forward to China?
Yes, you can catch me on Space Dock Jury, where I discuss imaginary spaceships on an imaginary leaderboard and end up having arguments with individuals. Whoever thought that would be a good idea. And I also do not the Grand Prix Podcast. I'm already doing that one. I do the Band of Brothers podcast with you.
Yes. And the latest episode is out right now as well. That dropped earlier on today.
Excellent.
Which was part 4, replacements.
Yes.
So that's going quite well as well.
It is.
You can catch me every week on the Black Dog Podcast, which is at blackdogpodcast.com. And check out all our friends, which are on the links that are on RogueTwoMedia. If you pop along to iTunes, you can also find all the podcasts that RogueTwoMedia do as well. If you just type in RogueTwoMedia, they will all pop up in front of you. And then you can give them a listen and see if you find anything else that you'd like to listen to. So, until next time, I've been Elton. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Ta-ra.
Just before we go, we have a little not announcement. I suppose it is just some housekeeping.
Elton, something's got to be done about your kids.
Some housekeeping, shall we say? You're off to the United States of America. Maybe you could drop off the DVD to our lucky winner.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
No, it really isn't, actually. No, bloody hell.
Yes, I'm off to the US of the A.
Yep.
Next week on the 8th of April. And unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you want to put it, the Chinese Grand Prix is on the 9th. So we fully intend to record on the 9th or the 10th or as close as we can. But there's logistics to take into account here. So we might be a day or two late.
Might be a day or two late. If we have to double stack them, then we will. We'll try not to, but yeah, sometimes life gets in the way. So if we do double stack, we'll do our best to keep everything nice and smooth and rolling as we try to get through the season. But if we don't have to double stack them, then we'll just carry on as per normal. It might be, as Andy says, a day or two late, but we will endeavour to get it out to you in time anyway. So
I mean, this is weird because I'm going to be in the US, which is 5 hours behind us, and the Chinese Grand Prix is like 9 hours ahead of us. So it's going to be like I don't even know what day it's going to be on over there. So
that's confusing.
Yes, and I've gone cross-eyed.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about that. Flipping hell. Okay, well, yeah, we will definitely be here. If it's a little bit late, that's the reason why. It's because of Andy. It's all his fault anyway. So
yep.
Anyway, we'll go again, so you can listen to
back to the music.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. Bye-bye.
All right.